Good morning, magandang umaga po. Finally, we received or I received notification from the Bureau of Immigration. So we now have a complete guideline regarding the new rules, and a lot of the questions I had before has been answered. So stay with me, that's what we'll talk about. Now this listing or pronouncement is supposed to supersede any and all previous pronouncements. So we start with ground zero, and these are the rules. Okay, you no longer have the 2-day swab test. You no longer have the 30 countries. All those were eliminated. This is the new ground rules. Okay, so erase the board. This is a lot simpler than it used to be because they kept on changing it. So let's go through it. This supersedes all previous advisories by the embassy. So this is the rule. Forget about previous ones. The embassy lists the following protocols for the entry of foreign nationals to the Philippines beginning February 1 of 2021. Number 1, or letter A, as a general rule, foreign nationals are still prohibited from entering the Philippines except for the following. So these are the exceptions. So forget about those foreigners who come to the Philippines, especially Americans, and they're given 30 days. You don't have to have a visa. When you get there, they give you a visa and you can stay for 30 days. None of that exists, okay? It's still not allowed. As a general rule, foreign nationals are still prohibited, except for the following. Number 1, diplomats and members of international organizations and their dependents, provided they have a valid 9E visa at the time of entry. If that doesn't apply to you, don't worry about it, but you have to have a visa before going to the Philippines. Foreign seafarers, provided they have a valid 9C visa at the time of entry. Again, get a visa before you get to the Philippines. Holders of 13 series visa, which include the following: temporary resident visa, which is a so-called 13A when you are married to a Filipino, foreigner married to a Filipino. Temporary resident visa for Indian nationals. Permanent resident visa, 13A Chinese nationals married to Filipino citizens. Now, this is the same as the first one, but I don't know why they consider the marriage to a Filipino temporary, whereas the Chinese are considered permanent. But they're both 13A visas, okay? Native-born visa, which is 13C. So for foreigners born to a foreign parent and became a permanent resident of the Philippines, they're issued the so-called 13C visa. Now again, if this does not apply to you, if you don't know what it is, it probably does not apply to you. Holders of Republic Act 7919 visas granted through Social Integration Program. Again, if you don't know what that is, because I don't, if you don't know what that is, doesn't apply to you. Holders of Executive Order 324 visas. Let's move on. Now, this is of interest to most of my viewers. Foreign spouses of Filipino nationals. Foreign spouses of Filipino nationals, provided the Filipino spouse is in the Philippines and they have a valid visa at the time of entry. No such thing as visa being issued at the time you enter the Philippines. No, you have to have a visa. Okay, please watch this all the way to the end, because it's very important, and that will eliminate you having to ask me questions and I have to answer thousands of questions, okay? Because everything is being addressed here. Foreign spouses of nationals, provided the Filipino spouse is in the Philippines and have a valid visa. Two things here. Kung yung foreigner yung asawa ninyo, kailangan nandun kayo sa Pilipinas para siya makapasok. At pagpasok niya sa Pilipinas, kailangan may visa na siya. Hindi pwedeng hihintayin niyo yung kanyang visa doon sa Pilipinas. Hindi gagawin yon. Okay? So, I'm going to try to speak Tagalog for the benefit of the people who may have difficulty understanding English. Foreign minor children, and I emphasize here, minor children, and foreign children with special needs regardless of age. So, kung yung bata may disability, any age, pero kung normal naman yung bata, kailangan minor de edad. Okay? An adult who does not have disability will not be allowed. Okay? So, foreign minor children and foreign children with special needs of age of Filipino nationals, provided the Filipino parent is in the Philippines and they have to have a valid visa at the time of entry. Always a valid visa. No such thing as being issued in the immigration office in the Philippines. Now, foreign parents of minor Filipino children, again minor, and Filipino children with special needs regardless of age, has to be regardless of age only if there is disability. Otherwise, it's only minor, not adult. Provided said Filipino minor children is in the Philippines and they have valid visa at the time of entry. Again, valid visa. Also, the minor child has to be in the Philippines. And note, I say here, foreign parent, not grandparent. Foreign parent, only in the immediate family, mother, father, children. Mother, father, children. I had questions, I received questions. Yung grandfather ng anak ko, ganon, ganito, Filipino, blah, 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 pwede ba silang pumasok? No. Kailangan immediate family only. Okay? Holders of special visas issued by the Bureau of Immigration under Republic Act 8756. I don't know what that is. If you know what it is, then that applies to you. If you don't know what it is, then it probably does not apply to you. Holders of 47A2 visa issued by the Department of Justice. Again, I don't know what that is. Holders of 9D visa, that's treaty trader visa. I think that is only issued to US, Japan, and Germany, if I recall correctly. But those are special business visa. Holders of visas issued by Aurora Pacific Economic Zone and Freeport Authority, Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority, Authority of Freeport Area of Bataan, Cagayan Economic Zone Authority, Clark Development Corporation. These are special visas that are being issued. Again, if you don't know anything about it, let's not worry about it. Let's move on. Holders of Special Resident Visa, SIRV, issued under EO 226, but not under EO 63. Again, if you don't know what it is, let's move on. Now, this is again important to you. Dual Filipino citizens carrying foreign passport. So, if you're already dual, but you do not have a Philippine passport, you want to carry a US passport, what do you present? In addition to the foreign passport, you need to show a recognition certificate, that is for dual citizens. Again, people ask me, what is this recognition certificate? When you became a dual citizen, you received 3 pieces of paper. One is the certificate of recognition, the recognition certificate or identification certificate. That's the one we're talking about. Then you also have the oath of allegiance. There's a third one, I can't remember what it is, but you should have that, and it's on a letterhead, it's not an ID. So I think it's labeled as identification certificate. Okay, that's the one. Or certificate of foreign citizenship, retention and reacquisition. Okay. Oh, by the way, the recognition certificate is for those children who did not have to apply because they were born in the United States with foreign parent, and automatically they're considered Filipino citizen, meaning they did not lose their citizenship because they were naturalized. They were born in the U.S. Then they just get a recognition certificate, and that I did not realize that they were issuing that certificate. But again, if you are dual, if you have this recognition certificate, get a Philippine passport, because then you don't have to worry about it. When you enter the Philippines, you show the Philippine passport. And when you enter the U.S., you show the U.S. passport. Oh, by the way, when you enter the Philippines, you show both the Philippine passport and the U.S. or overseas, any other foreign country passport. Not for you to be able to get into the Philippines. The Philippine passport is all you need to get in, but just to have your foreign passport stamped also. Okay? That's the only purpose of presenting it both ways. Filipino citizens, foreign spouses, and children, regardless of age, from non-visa required countries who are traveling with them and avails of visa-free entry privilege balikbayan. Okay, someone asked me the question, they're a Filipino citizen and their son, who is an adult, they will need to go to the Philippines para mamanghikan, I think, to talk to the parents of the girl who he is going to marry. So their question is, can they take him with them? And he is not Filipino. Okay, I guess he is a foreigner, or at least not a Filipino citizen. Okay, the answer to that question is yes. It says Filipino citizens, foreign spouse, and children, regardless of age, he or she will be able to go. Okay, from non-visa required country. Now, it says non-visa required. This is the Balikbayan Program. Okay, not all countries will be accepted as a Balikbayan. And I'm going to link down below the countries that are part of the Balikbayan Program. If you're coming from a country not listed on this list, there's no Balikbayan for you. Okay, but if your country is on this list, there is a Balikbayan Program that applies to you. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. Now, the first one is Filipino citizen. The next one is former Filipino citizen who did not reacquire their citizenship. Okay, but nevertheless used to be former, but lost their citizenship because they became citizen in another country, United States, for example. Former Filipino citizens, including their foreign spouses, foreign spouses and children from non-visa required countries, regardless of age, okay, who are traveling with them and avails of visa-free entry privilege. Okay, again, this is the so-called Balikbayan Program. So you do not have to be a Filipino citizen. You could be a former Filipino citizen, and you can bring along, because they have to be traveling with you, you can bring along a child, a foreign child, regardless of age. Okay? So an adult child can go with a former Filipino, and they will not need a visa. And under the Balikbayan Program, you can stay up to 1 year, okay, as a Balikbayan, including the foreign person. Holders of 9G, that's a working visa, who departed the Philippines on or after December 17 of 2020, again, provided they have a valid visa at the time of entry. No visa is being issued when you enter the country, so you have to have a visa, okay? And I don't know why on or after. What happens if you departed before the 17th? You will not be allowed, I guess. But I don't know the significance of that date. All foreign nationals permitted entry into the Philippines shall be required, now here is another question here, to secure and pre-book accommodation, again I said pre-booked accommodation for at least 7 nights in the Department of Tourism accredited quarantine facility. Why 7 nights? When you arrive, February 1, you get tested 5 days after that, not counting the first day. So, second day, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, February 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? So, 6 days. And then, you will need to wait 1 day for the result to come back. That's the reason for the 7 nights. To undergo COVID-19 testing at the respective quarantine hotel facility on the 6th day from the date of arrival in the Philippines. Somebody asked me the question, do I need to make a reservation? I guess not, because the first one says you have to show a pre-booked accommodation. That's for the quarantine facility, but they did not say you have to have a reservation. I guess what happens is on the 6th day, somebody will come to the hotel, and everybody who needs to be tested, that they will be tested. So I don't think you need any advance reservation for the testing. All right. Other applicable quarantine and isolation protocols as prescribed by the Department of Health. That's just a catch-all statement. Okay, so I hope this clarifies all the questions that I have had. I received questions like, see, the problem is a lot of people watch the video in the beginning, they don't watch until the end, and maybe after 1, 2, 3 minutes they just go ahead and ask questions. So I'll appreciate it if you watch the whole thing and get it out of the way, and if you still have questions, feel free to ask. That's not an issue, that's not a problem. Okay, so I hope you enjoy this video. This is the final one. Finally, this is the final one, and I hope they don't change it again after a few days. And hopefully you'll be able to go home. Balikbayans, again, I'm sorry for the tourists, the foreigners who are going there just for tourism. Some people, or a lot of people, also ask me about, oh, my girlfriend. I can't do anything about that now. But some people may have valid point. For example, I need to go home because of medical condition, and am I required to have this? I'll tell you what, you will be required to have this, because I got a message, a comment from a viewer who said there's a death in the family, they had to take home the dead body, and what? They have to quarantine, and they have to postpone the burial. So same thing, if you have special requirement, like you need medical attention in the Philippines, not here, contact the Philippine consulate. Or if you're getting married, maybe there's a special visa they will issue that you're required to get married within so many days after you arrive, just like in the US. So I will never say never, but at least it's not being addressed here. So if you think you have an exceptional case, talk to the Philippine consulate. Okay, so thank you very much, and please do share this with other people who may be interested in going home, and make it a great day. God bless.